Teachers. What's the saddest thing a student has asked you? I teach 3rd grade at Lincoln Elementary, and I thought I'd heard everything after 15 years in the classroom. Kids ask about divorce, death, why their parents fight, all the heavy stuff that breaks your heart. But last November, a quiet boy named Tommy raised his hand during math class and asked something that still keeps me awake at night. Mrs. Davis, do you think my mom would notice if I wasn't here anymore? The whole classroom went silent. 28 8-year-olds suddenly stopped talking and stared at him. Tommy had these big brown eyes that always looked tired, like he carried the weight of the world on his tiny shoulders. I knelt down next to his desk and asked what he meant. He started crying these silent tears that just rolled down his cheeks without making any sound. She works all the time now, he whispered. And when she gets home, she just stares at her phone and drinks that brown stuff that makes her sleepy. I tried to show her my spelling test yesterday, but she said not now. My heart shattered right there in front of the multiplication worksheets. Tommy explained that his dad had left 6 months ago. His mom worked double shifts at the factory to pay rent, then came home exhausted and drank herself to sleep every night. He'd been making his own dinner, doing his own laundry, and putting himself to bed. I made her coffee this morning and left it by her bed, he said. But she didn't say thank you. She didn't even look at me. Maybe if I wasn't there, she could sleep more and wouldn't be so sad all the time. The other kids were still listening, some of them starting to cry too. These were 8-year-olds hearing their classmate talk about disappearing, and they understood enough to know it was serious. I immediately called our school counselor and social services, but what haunted me was how matter-of-fact Tommy sounded, like he'd been thinking about this for months, weighing whether his own mother would miss him. That afternoon, I drove to Tommy's apartment complex. His mom answered the door in a wrinkled work uniform, smelling like alcohol even though it was only 4 in the afternoon. I told her what Tommy had said. She broke down completely, sobbing about how she'd been drowning since her husband left, how she worked 60 hours a week just to keep their lights on, and came home too exhausted to be the mom Tommy deserved. I love him so much, she cried, but I can't even look at him without seeing his father's face, and I'm so angry all the time. I don't want him to see me like this. We talked for 2 hours. I helped her find a grief counselor and connected her with some local support groups for single mothers. I also arranged for Tommy to stay after school in our tutoring program, so he'd have a safe place until his mom got help. The breakthrough came 3 weeks later. Tommy's mom started attending AA meetings and seeing a therapist. She cut back to 40 hours at work and began picking Tommy up from school herself. One day in December, Tommy raised his hand again during math class. Same quiet voice, same serious expression. But this time he said, "Mrs. Davis, my mom made me pancakes this morning, and she said she loves me more than all the stars in the sky." The whole class cheered. 28 3rd graders celebrating because their friend's mom made him breakfast and told him she loved him. Tommy's mom started volunteering in our classroom once a week. She'd help kids with reading and always made sure to give Tommy extra hugs when she thought no one was looking. At our winter concert, I watched her in the audience crying happy tears as Tommy sang with his class. She held up her phone to record every second, making up for all those months when she couldn't see past her own pain. After the show, Tommy ran to her and she scooped him up, spinning him around while he giggled. He looked over her shoulder at me and mouthed, "Thank you," with the biggest smile I'd ever seen on his face. That's when I knew he'd never ask that terrible question again, because now he knew without a doubt that his mom would notice if he wasn't there. In fact, she'd fall apart without him.